Isabella Janke, a name that you've probably heard before. Even if you haven't, you have probably heard the name Chris Chan, the guy who raped his own mom. Bella was the one who was accused of manipulating Chris into having an incestuous relationship with his mother, Barbara. In fact, the Isabella Janke rabbit hole is so deep and dark that you can talk about it for hours, yet barely scratch the surface. Be it her recording and leaking Chris Chan's confession, her deeply disturbing involvement in animal abuse, or her history of planting spy cameras to monitor her roommates, nothing about this woman seems right, and you will soon know why. Isabella Bella Loretta Janke has a reputation for being quite a controversial and provocative figure online, often described as an edgelord and self-proclaimed lonely 4chan dweller. She led a series of Discord servers, including the TTU Chess Club, where she and her friends frequently made sociopathic, edgy, and inappropriate comments. They even encouraged people to verbally harass other students at Texas Tech University. In the fall of 2020, Bella was hired by the Predator Group to create an animation for Chris. This project led to their first meeting, and they continued to stay in touch afterwards, which unfortunately didn't bode well for Chris. Bella claims she first saw Chris at BronyCon around 2016 when she was in Baltimore for a Rubik's Cube contest. However, since Chris didn't attend BronyCon in 2016, it's more likely she saw him there in 2017. She says she didn't know who he was at the time and didn't talk to him. I mean, considering this is what Chris got up to, I wouldn't want to talk to him either. A former member of Bella's chess club server stated that Bella often bragged about knowing Chris personally. Bella is also known to have connections with several of Chris's other associates. According to Bella, she contacted Chris through Predator around September to November 2020. Chris confirmed in a June 4, 2022 letter that he met Bella through Predator, though he felt hiring her wasn't a good idea. Later, Chris mentioned that Bella hadn't contributed much to the group and didn't participate in sales, with her only collaboration being an animated intro involving Chris Chan's Sonichu. The troll Larry Vaughn claimed he was in contact with Bella early on when she first reached out to Chris. According to Larry, Bella told him that Chris was trying to reconnect with old high school friends, and she advised them to change their contact information regularly to avoid him. Larry also claimed Bella helped him manipulate Chris. A Twitter account under Bella's Kelly Osbourne pseudonym followed Larry's account, adding to these connections. At an unspecified date, Chris requested an animation from Bella, which she created. The Chris Chan Sonichu intro animation was posted on Chris's YouTube channel on November 13, 2020. In the video's description, Chris credited an Instagram account with the username I have 30k hours on Nekopara, which humorously described the user as a middle-aged man. Bella later changed the username to 10th Anonymous. On July 14, 2021, Chris mentioned Bella to Null and provided her 10th Anonymous Instagram, explaining that the profile's claim for being a 45-year-old man was a joke and described Bella as very intelligent and kind, sending Null her real photo as proof. Then, an anonymous 4chan user matching Bella's characteristics such as writing, style, age, and interest in chess posted about being in contact with Chris on the TV board, asking for advice on how to profit from it. The user shared screenshots of Chris playing chess and claimed to be both a troll and friend to Chris, manipulating him into believing in various things. The user faced heavy criticism and eventually claimed to be sarcastic about wanting to profit from Chris, but ignored warnings about the risk of doxing. On December 28, 2020, Bella discussed the Avatar state, a concept from the Nickelodeon cartoon Avatar: The Last Airbender, which Chris would soon incorporate into his fantasy world. On February 17, 2021, Chris mentioned Bella as someone he was considering for a potential relationship. Later, Chris showed more interest in her during his planned trip to Everfree Northwest, where he wanted to book a hotel room with her. Bella claimed in a chat with Fiona that Chris often made sexual remarks towards her. However, Chris later stated in a jail letter that he had no strong sexual feelings for Bella and that they were just friends. In a conversation with members of the Watchmen group, Chris described Bella as intelligent. In a chat with chess club member Alan on April 25, 2021, Bella mentioned that Chris was constantly texting her, expressing how much he needed her. Alan suggested she block him since Bella had no interest in being his friend. Despite these mixed signals, Chris had a positive view of Bella, describing her as cool to talk with, which aligned with Bella's claim that she was extremely nice to him. Bella sent Chris gifts, including Pickle Rick-shaped mints, markers, and a few letters. However, former Watchmen member Kyle saw Bella as a sycophant. Bella claimed many of her interactions with Chris were pleasant, though Chris also imagined her as a male Sonichu in his fantasy world. Bella, in a statement from July 19, 2021, mentioned that she had gained a reputation as epic and anonymous and a hacker. She claimed to have cut off all interaction with Chris from March to late June 2021 due to the toxic nature of the surrounding community and concerns about the Watchmen doxing people. She also mentioned receiving numerous texts from Chris and the amount of attention he required. Bella also claimed Chris then invited her to Everfree Northwest, but in a Discord post on July 19, 2021, she contradicted this by saying she had been able to troll Chris for almost a year by being nice to him. The full extent of Bella's trolling is unclear, though she often bragged about being the only troll who had never been discovered. On July 19, 2021, Chris introduced Bella to the Watchmen group, the Knights of CWC. Since she hadn't shown malicious intentions initially, the WCT said, "As long as your intentions are good, you'll be fine." The WCT also had Bella's help in attempting to dox Knot after Knot doxed him for declining to use his Kiwi Farms account. According to The Fool, a former Kiwi Farms user and minor member of both The Place and the Knights, Knot and WCT had conflicting approaches to stopping Chris from interacting with Bella and Preeter. Knot and WCT were not friends with Bella. She was in her own group, controlling Chris. WCT tried to be friendly with her to keep her on a short leash, but Bella was very defensive. Knot, on the other hand, actively tried to push Bella away, which might explain her defensiveness towards WCT's attempt to interact with her. Both knew Bella was a ween, but they couldn't stop Chris from interacting with her or Preeter. Knot tried to demonize them, while WCT pretended to be friendly to facilitate open communication and learn Preeter's plans. Neither strategy worked, but dealing with Chris was always challenging. Bella has a history of impersonating other people in her interactions with Chris. One time, she pretended to be a Curiosity Stream employee to lure Chris to Richmond, Virginia. She sent him an email claiming they were interested in discussing autism on a podcast because of his Sonichu comics. It's unclear if Chris ever responded to this email. From February 1 to mid-June 2021, Bella impersonated Chris's high school friend Kelly Andis. Although she misspelled her name as Kelly Andis in several emails, in May 2020, Chris asked Kelly if she had an Amazon account and could buy a gift card for him to gift a female friend $200 for her birthday, promising to repay her since his account wasn't working. Kelly agreed, since only a few of these emails have been leaked and they are spread out over time. The extent of Bella's impersonation remains unknown. Despite appearing friendly with Chris, Bella made many cruel and violent comments about him to others. On Kiwi Farms, she described Chris as a fat, overweight retard and complained about his enablers. She also suggested that instead of paying Chris, her associates should convince him to cut off his penis and express the desire for him to die in a gender reassignment surgery accident. Bella posted these comments under the username 10anon. In a conversation on July 19, 2021, within her chess club, Bella coached her friend Alan on how to talk to Chris. Alan asked why Chris trusted her, and she replied, "Because I'm extremely nice to him." She then boasted about hacking into Chris's bank account, stealing his money, getting free trips, and making him join a cult and view My Little Pony pornography on Kiwi Farms. Alan joked about a suicide plot, saying, "I thought the plan was to get him to himself." To which Bella responded, "Yeah, but by getting others to tell him they're Jesus and they hate him, and then saying, 'Oh no, those people are so mean,' and then he pays me." The conversation then shifted back to coaching Alan on how to talk to Chris. Bella advised him to be overly expressive and nice because Chris doesn't interpret tones well, and warned that a watchman might dox Alan if he upset Chris. After the chess club server logs were leaked, Alan claimed in an August 8, 2021 interview that he and Bella had been making sarcastic, edgy jokes and that there was no actual plan to kill Chris. Rumors began to circulate based on Bella's comments. During the jail saga, people wrote to Chris about Bella. In a jail letter responding to a fan's questions, Chris claimed to foreknew that Bella had a suicide plot. However, Chris likely received several letters mentioning Bella and the alleged plot before this one, and he had previously made false claims about foreseeing various events. No evidence had been found that Bella was serious about wanting to harm Chris. Everfree Northwest is a My Little Pony themed convention that Chris planned to attend in August 2021. While making plans in July, Chris sought to assemble a posse for sharing and protection during the convention. This seemed to be in response to being informed by Watchmen, the WCT, that Jacob Sockness planned to attend in disguise to meet him. On July 12, Chris asked the WCT if he knew anyone who could help, but WCT said he did not. Chris also mentioned asking Null and Peter Skadden for help with the posse arrangements. The following day, Chris texted Bella, assigning her to act as a bodyguard. "I wanted to check in with you on an additional detail about the convention. While us being together as travel buddies and friends remains genuine, there's a caveat as well. You'll also play as a bodyguard and watch person, similar to Link's Navi, unless you feel able to do physical work in defense as well. The reason being, Sockness is making an attempt to get to the convention as well." According to Bella, she received a message from Chris requesting that she be his bodyguard, and she agreed to the role. Chris also made plans for them to carpool to Washington, D.C. for their flight to Seattle to attend the convention. Bella claimed Chris wanted her to act as a photographer, offering her $500 to buy a camera, and followed him around the convention to take photos. Around this time, Chris was also secretly in contact with Fiona, a young woman who had developed a crush on him. Both Fiona and Bella were supposed to accompany Chris to Everfree Northwest. On July 14, 2021, Chris told Null about Bella and her plans to meet him at the convention. Null informed him that Bella's Instagram account claimed she was a 45-year-old man. Chris sent Null a photograph of her to prove otherwise. On July 19, 2021, Chris invited Bella and Fiona into Knights of CWC, a Discord server of Watchmen, where they discussed how to protect Chris from Jacob Sockness at the convention. A love triangle formed, with Chris liking Bella, Bella liking Fiona, and Fiona liking Chris. Bella expressed her attraction to Fiona in various chess club servers, sharing a photograph of Fiona's legs, calling her cute, and claiming she wanted to protect Fiona from Chris and win her over. She also wanted to dance with Fiona during the Grand Galloping Gala event. However, Chris was arrested and detained before he could attend the convention, and he has since been banned indefinitely. In July 2021, Chris began telling several people, including Bella, that he was having sex with an older woman. He provided vague hints, but also lied about her identity. Towards the end of the month, during a video call with Bella, Chris revealed that the older woman was his own mother. Bella found an excuse to start covertly recording the conversation using her iPad. Bella compiled the recordings and shared it with her friends in the chess club and with Fiona. Fiona then shared a censored version with the Christian Conversation Collective, and a server member, L Dude Rocks, uploaded the clip to YouTube. The leak caused significant drama as Bella tried to avoid being doxxed. In her efforts, she falsely blamed others to her role in the call and its leak. On July 13, 2021, Chris confided in Bella that he was in a relationship with an older woman, considering Bella one of the few people he could trust not to disclose this information. Around July 27, Chris dropped more hints about his relationship. "I realize I'm remaining and sounding distant on the questioning, and it will become more clear and obvious when I tell you in person who she is. I actually wish I could tell you over text or voice call, but the government and anyone with the tech can easily hack into those methods." Chris said he would feel better and safer confiding in Bella in person. He also recommended using Signal, a secure texting and voice-video chatting app with end-to-end encryption, which he had used to communicate with Null. Later, Bella discussed Chris's evasiveness with Fiona. Bella mentioned that due to Chris implying illegal activity through his hack comment, she suspected he and his sexual partner were related. Fiona asked if it was Barbara, and Bella replied, "I genuinely think it might be." Taken aback, expressed a wish that her own intimacy with Chris might sway him away from his mother, saying, "When I have with him, I hope it sways him away from his mother." She also implored Bella to intervene, asking her to please tell him to quit her for me. It's reported that around the time of the call, Chris allegedly sent text messages to Bella, providing additional details about his incestuous actions. In the aftermath of the call, an interview with Bella would surface.
I was reflecting what he was telling back to me. I was trying to just repeat what he's saying. It's just, I don't know, it's just a way to communicate with him, to get him to open up more, to show them understanding. Regardless, I was never going to do that, and I was trying to put this guy, from the get-go when he said that, I was trying to think of a way to start leaking it in a way that I wouldn't get caught, in a way that he would get arrested and Barb would go in the hospital like right now. I never said, hey, go f*** mom. I really want to see that because I'm into it. No, that's ridiculous, no way.
Then she claimed it was actually to protect Fiona.
The reason why this cannot be leaked is because it has my real name in it, so yeah. But I'll let you listen to it. It only, it says about Fiona and all that, so, I don't want people to, get all up in arms about Fiona.
Yeah, they were. I had to take him down on it.
I know. I mean, I trust him. He knows I'm Fiona.
She did not calm down.
Let me see.
Huh?
It's just
Isn't it
whoever.
about me?
Whoever.
I'm aroused from this? What the fuck are you talking about?
That's what the transcript
So
says.
what fucking transcript are you talking about? Are you retarded that I'm aroused from this? What the fuck are you trying to accuse me of? Being aroused from this? That's so stupid. You're reading random comments. I never saw a comment of somebody saying, "Wow, she must be aroused."
Okay,
from
this is from
that she's so into it. What the fuck are you talking
Look at the
about? Is
transcript.
that why you're here to question me? Because I'm interested in it? God.
Please calm down. Please calm down.
Bella had intended to leak the news about the incestuous relationship, but she wanted to gather evidence from a different angle to protect her anonymity. However, Bella inadvertently shared the call recording and texts with Fiona, who then leaked them on a Discord server on the night of July 29 without Bella's consent. Bella was upset with Fiona for these actions, as she had not given permission for the information to be shared. Subsequently, Bella began to boast about their discovery. In conversations with Fiona, she claimed they had broken the internet. However, Fiona seemed less interested in the attention, expressing concern about potential consequences. Bella assured her that she would take steps to protect her identity. Null questioned Chris, who disclosed that he had only shared the sensitive information with Bella. Consequently, Null identified Bella as someone with insider knowledge of the situation, implicating her as a potential source of the leak. In an attempt to avoid being doxxed, Bella made unsuccessful efforts, including trying to shift blame onto others. Following the leak of the recorded incest call and the accompanying text on July 30, 2021, Chris informed Null that Bella was the sole recipient of the information. He expressed trust in her, believing she hadn't directly leaked the details to anyone else. On the same day, Chris became suspicious that Bella was behind the leak and confronted her about it. Bella and Fiona discussed the situation, with Fiona suggesting they blame trolls for the leak. Bella initiated a group chat to further investigate the matter, aiming to confirm her suspicions about the supposed culprit she had set up. The next day, Null questioned why Chris continued to engage with Bella despite her involvement in the criminal charge she faced. Chris defended his decision, claiming he was spiritually guided and sound of mind. However, he also sought advice from the WCT, who agreed with Null that trusting Bella was unwise. Chris then acknowledged that Bella's explanation was not credible. Various rumors began circulating about Bella, fueled by gossip and speculation, including claims that she had seriously contemplated suicide or plotted to blackmail Chris. These rumors lacked evidence to substantiate them. During the jail saga, Chris received letters from fans containing rumors about Bella, which he had then propagated in his own letters, falsely asserting that he had foreseen Bella's involvement in a suicide plot and referencing the Everfree Northwest rumor. Recently, Chris has expressed disdain towards Bella, particularly evident in his jail letters. In these correspondences, he accuses Bella, along with Null and Jacob Sockness, of plotting against him with what he calls betrayal plans and nasty plots. In one letter, Chris describes the incest call as a divine test for Bella, hoping she wouldn't reveal his affair with Barb. He also claims to have foreseen Bella tempting him towards suicide. Another letter from Chris predicts karma will catch up with Bella on Judgment Day. He also suggests Bella had a hand in ruining his relationship with Fiona, spreading rumors that Bella was trying to manipulate him into outing himself as a pedophile by dating Fiona. Chris alleges in another letter that he had predicted Bella's plans as far back as June 2021. He claims Bella confessed to fabricating details in the call, including any sexual encounters between him and Barb, rendering the call irrelevant. However, the credibility of these claims is questionable, given Bella's history of fabricating evidence and Chris's conflicting statements about his relationship with Barb. In a different June letter, Chris expresses a belief that Bella is being influenced by evil spirits and claims he's attempting to save her from them. Coming back to Isabella, it's unclear whether she was the one who first convinced Chris to have sex with Barbara. What's interesting is that she stayed in touch with Chris right up until the day he got arrested, somehow convincing him she was just a friend. Even after everything came out, it shows how much sway she had over him. As this info came out, her involvement started spreading on social media. Isabella finally got the title she wanted, being hailed as the ultimate troll in Christian Story. But now that her real identity is known, it's clear that her association with him led to more revelations, revealing her to be even worse than we thought. Once Isabella was identified for sure, word got back to the student body of Texas Tech. Turns out her shady dealings weren't limited to online trolling. She had a reputation on campus for some pretty messed up stuff. On August 7th, a student named Roman spilled the beans on Twitter. Isabella had been the subject of a Title IX investigation, which is a process for looking into claims of gender-based discrimination and sexual harassment. Roman had reported her for threatening to rape and murder other students, but the university didn't do much about it. When Roman gathered evidence against them, it was way worse than anyone imagined. Isabella and Lewis were accused of animal abuse and even admitted to some horrifying things like killing hamsters. You'd think they'd get kicked out of school for that, right? But nope. They managed to wriggle out of it by confusing the university with their Discord antiques. They even targeted Roman for speaking out against them, trying to dox him online. Roman decided to share it all later on Twitter, but let me give you the lowdown now. So apparently, Isabella has been up to some pretty bizarre stuff on campus, like seriously weird. First off, there's this persistent stench around her room. People say it's like a mix of rancid piss and, well, who knows what else. Turns out, part of the smell is from her cat's, waste. Yeah, she kinda lets that linger. Gross, right? But wait, it gets worse. Bella's got some sort of thing for feces and being generally repulsive. I mean, who does that? She avoids cleaning products like the plague and ends up with fungal infections on her fingers and toes. So bad, she's had to take them off and glue them back on. Yikes. And get this, her roommates have it even worse. She's been stealing their stuff, planting cameras to spy on them, and even framing one poor soul for flooding the laundry room. Oh, and apparently, she's got a crush on one of her female roommates. Yeah, it's as creepy as it sounds. She's been licking razor blades to taste, well, let's not go there. And don't even get me started on what she wrote about finding yummy streaks in the toilet. Ugh. But the worst part, she bragged about molesting one of her roommates. Yeah, after a physical fight, she went ahead and did something beyond messed up. And apparently, she's not shy about getting handsy with her other female friends either. Foot massages, feeling them up, she's done it all. I mean, seriously, who does this stuff? It's just disturbing. So all these crazy events ended up with Bella getting hit with an eviction notice. Students were buzzing, thinking maybe it had something to do with those spy cameras. But Bella, being Bella, came up with some excuse, saying it was all just a mix-up and she was being transferred. Classic, right? But let's be real here. She's not exactly the most trustworthy source. I mean, we're talking about someone who spins lies like it's a hobby. Now, you might be wondering, how do we know all this stuff is legit? Well, a lot of it comes from chat logs. Roman spilled some beans, and then there were these full server archives floating around online. Basically, when the chess club members got outed, they started pointing fingers and leaking info left and right. Drama central, I tell you. So aside from Bella, there were two other main players in the Discord mess, Lewis and Alan. Lewis, poor guy, seemed like he was Bella's fall guy. She'd try to pin stuff on him, but he didn't completely throw her under the bus. Still, he was the first to let those server logs loose. As for Alan, well, he's an interesting character. Bella and him cooked up some wild schemes, like trying to force feminize Lewis. Yeah, seriously messed up stuff. And get this, Bella's claiming she's some kind of computer whiz, hacking into other students' accounts and spreading viruses. Alan's no saint either, admitting to some shady stuff, like seeing Bella off a hamster in Lewis's kitchen. Yeah, you heard me right. He tried to play innocent, but eventually, he came clean. Talk about wild times, huh? But hey, if Alan's telling the truth, maybe Bella's not as hardcore as she claims. And that brings us to the juiciest part of this whole saga. Apparently, there are some seriously dark allegations swirling around Bella. We're talking accusations of pedophilia and involvement in some seriously illegal stuff. It's not just hearsay either. There's some interview with a former chess club member claiming Bella was into some seriously messed up things, like collecting child pornography. Yeah, I know. It's stomach churning. Now, there's this whole thing about Bella supposedly being an admin on 4chan threads, using them to gather this disturbing content, but honestly, it's a bit sketchy. I mean, who knows if it's true? There's this leaked screenshot floating around too, suggesting she had links to some shady stuff on the deep web. But here's the kicker. None of this has been proven yet. It's all just allegations, as far as we know. Texas Tech University got bombarded with questions about Bella's behavior, and they had to confirm they're looking into it. There's talk of committees and investigations, but who knows when that'll wrap up. One thing's for sure though, Bella's not gonna just skate by on this one. Her name's tied to all this mess, and it's not gonna fade away anytime soon. Now, here's where it gets eerie. Remember Chris, the guy we talked about earlier? Well, it turns out his whole downfall kinda has this weird poetic vibe to it. See, folks over at Kiwi Farms, they uncovered Bella's identity. And get this, Kiwi Farms was originally all about documenting Chris. It's like fate or something, the way it all unfolded. And the irony? Bella, who played a role in Chris's downfall, ends up being this whole other level of messed up herself. Like, seriously messed up. And get this, Bella's even got legal representation now, trying to get threads about her taken down from Kiwi Farms. But so far, no dice. Who knows how this ends now? I certainly don't.